good day to all of you. So, hello BSED2D. Before we proceed to our lesson, may I ask Anna Lou, may you lead our prayer, please?
Good afternoon po. Yes, ma'am. Let us bow our heads and feel the presence of the Lord in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Holy Mighty One, let your love flow out for us. Open up your mercy so that we may grow in learning, serve our fellow men, and to remain grateful to you. Amen. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Alright, thank you very much, Anna Lou. So, good morning to my students. I am your teacher for today. You can call me Teacher Joyce. So, may we proceed to the next slide, please? So, let me ask you first, is my audio clear? Do you hear me very well? Or am I visible to your end, class?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. We can hear you, ma'am.
We can hear you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, Viv. So, as you can see in the PowerPoint, I pasted the link on our attendance, so you can answer that before our class ends, okay? Make sure that you fill that out before our class ends. Is that understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
I will also paste that on our chat box. Wait a moment. For our attendance for the day. I will check that later. So how's your day going? Next slide, please. My class, how's your day going? What's your academic stuff? Okay, now how's your day going?
Currently we are tasked to do an article with the current issue of our society. So, a bit busy, I think.
Yeah. This is of your midterm exam also, right? So, about your task, it's a great task to do. Let me give you an idea about that. You could write an article about the COVID-19 pandemic, how it affects our society, our economic status, the community pantry. Do you have community pantry in your barangay? IZ?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Oh, Viv also has
Yes,
your...
ma'am.
Yes, thank you, Anna Lu. So, back to your topic on your article. Aside from the community pantry, is your community distributed the vaccine or the Chinese vessel around the Julian Felipe, the undying Egypt of our country? And I'm also glad to say that our topic for today will help you somehow constructing your article and how you will be able to construct the information according to the speaker. But before that, let me introduce to you our instruction during the meeting. So first is join the class on time. So all of you, very good, you join the class on time. Second is respect and listen. You may use our chat box instead if you have any clarification or concern during our meeting. Third, please mute your speaker if you're not going to talk. Fourth, open your camera. But if you are using your data, that's just fine. Fifth, participate in classroom. Sixth, always remember to enjoy the class. 7. If you have concern, please use the chat box as I said earlier. Next, presentable clothes. And lastly, prepare your ball pen and your notebook beside you. Alright? Is that understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
So,
ma'am.
it is our objectives. Slide, please. At the end of the lesson, the students will be able to understand the significance of speech in everyday lives, analyze the difference between direct and indirect speech, comprehend the rules and structure of direct speech, and lastly, apply the rules in converting direct to indirect speech by answering the activities. Next slide is about the materials needed. So we need the chalkboard or whiteboard marker, laptop, cell phone, pencil, ball pen, notebook. I also included the resource that I bought from our to our discussion for today, so that you will be able to review it after we discuss. So for our recap, do you remember our discussion last time? Who wants to answer?
Ma'am.
Ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, we discussed about the three types of persons' point of view, and those are first, second, and third point of view, wherein we use I, my, mine in first point, you, your, yours, yourself in second point of view, and we use she, her, his, him, they, them in third person's point of view.
Alright, that's a very detailed recap out there, Anna Lu. So let us jump into the another slide, please. So you're right, Anna Lu. Thank you for that. We discussed about the different point of views, which are the first person, second person, and third person. Next slide, please. Alright, so students, let us focus on the screen in front of you. Because before we proceed to our lesson proper, I will present to you two sentences. What are you need to do is to observe their difference, and because you already know that our topic for the day, it is about the indirect speech. Indirect speech, yes, and direct speech. So, based on your instinct, or maybe in your staff knowledge, maybe you discussed this in the previous discussion that you've had in your grade level. Which sentence is the direct and indirect speech? Is that understood? That's my instruction. So, here is sentence number 1, and below is the sentence number 2. Alright, observe carefully. You may click in the bottom part of your screen to hand this, or just call me ma'am if you want to answer. Yes, I see. I believe IC has a internet connection.
Ma'am? I'm sorry, ma'am. I don't notice that I'm muted.
Okay,
I think the answer po, ma'am, in number 1 is direct speech, and sentence number 2 is maybe indirect speech. But I'm not sure, ma'am. I just wanna try.
That's great. That's a nice try. Because you are right. So in sentence number 1, that is the direct speech. And sentence number 2 is the indirect speech. Later on, we'll discuss its structure and its rule. Why, IC? What do you observe in the sentence? Why did you say that sentence number 1 is the direct speech?
Because the sentence number 1 is the exact word that the speaker said. While I noticed in the sentence number 2, the narration of other people to what the other speaker said. So it makes the indirect speech.
Alright. That's a very good observation, and your answer is right. The example sentence is the direct speech at the upper part, while the second one is the indirect speech. Now let us proceed to our formal discussion. There are several times when we need to explain a particular experience or action, and it often means repeating what has been said. A social environment as well as a work email or presentation are examples of such times, as well, or even in the family setting when you talk to your parents and you report what your siblings have been exactly said. So direct speech is also very important in writing an article, as I've said earlier, in your task, or a book in a public speaking, because writers or speakers need to point out that idea that the other speaker said to send the message or information exactly or the same to the listeners and the readers. So here is an example picture of the direct speech in the newspaper article. Next slide, please. Another slide. There you go. So it was written by Teresa Lucia Atienza, entitled BulSU-CoEd School Building Funds to Send Students to Private School, Baguio, Solon. So what is the main idea of this article is that the speaker suggests that the government to support or give fund on building to build another schools for public but to the private schools so that many students can study in the midst of pandemic. Instead of building public schools, we will transfer the fund to the private school. There are several factors that have been discussed in the article said by the speakers in the forum. What are those? So first, if the government will not be able to support them, then the percentage of the students who will not enter the school year increases. That's right. Second, it will be congested in the public schools when the time came that students will be able to go back to personal classes. So I suggest you guys, my students, to read that article. So here is the example direct speech presented in your screen. That's why I use this as an example. This is a very good example of direct speech. So the highlighted part, the red part, we just invest this by giving this amount to the students who will enter the private school. He told. Yeah. Every year, our population in DepEd is increasing. Go said. Kung alam lang natin in Filipino terms, speech marks. Kung alam lang natin, if we know the incremental cost for every student that will be accepted in the public schools, then, at the last part, he pointed out. So later on, we will discuss why is the structure of direct speech is like that. So let's proceed. Another slide. Alright, students, what else do you think is the importance of direct speech based on what I said? This is a review. Yeah, Nalim, do you want to answer?
Yes, ma'am. I think direct speech portrays or sends the tone and the mood of the speaker's message to other people or the speakers or the readers.
Alright, very good, Rina. So, because of direct speech, the tone and mood or how the speaker sends the message will also be identified because each character or each of us speaks differently in different situations, whether we feel happy, angry, sad, excited, or amused. All of those emotions have different deliveries from different people. I'm so sorry, there's a... Okay. Let's go back here in our discussion. Now let us analyze the example I provided earlier. It said that it is direct speech. Right? So here's the
Yes,
example. Okay. Rolly said they want to buy a motorcycle. What do you think is the point of view used in the sentence? Remember that we have first, second, and third point of view. What do you think is the point of view used in the sentence?
Ma'am. Ma'am, that is first person point of view because of the word I.
Alright, correct. Remember that we use the words I, mine for first, second point of view. So now, let us observe the structures. After the words Rolly said, we should apply comma after it. We can also apply words Rolly said at the end of the sentence or it could be in front, just like what we did. At the speech, I want to buy a motorcycle is opened with speech marks. Always remember that the first letter of the speech will be the capital letter. Is that understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Let's try in the sentence below of the PowerPoint presentation. Maya said, I want to donate some foods in the community pantry. What do you think is wrong with the sentence, or we need to, put comma or speech marks? Who wants to add it? That sentence.
May I?
Yes, Rina.
The name Maya should be in uppercase. The letter M should be in uppercase, and after the word said, it should be a comma, not a period, and the word I should be also in uppercase, and the quotation or the statement of Maya should be in open and close. What do you call that? Quotations. Yeah.
Speech marks. We call that speech.
Speech marks. Yes, po.
Yes, very good, Rina Lynn. So as she said, Maya needs to be in capital letters because that is noun. And after the word said, comma. Then speech marks, I want to donate something in the community pantry. Speech marks, speech marks, and then period at the end of the sentence. Right, very good, Rina. Now, we are going to define what is the reporting clause, the reporting verb, reporting clause, reported clause, and the reported verb. Remember the term reporting and reported. There's a big difference between those words. So, class, listen carefully to our discussion because after this, we will be having an activity regarding this topic. We're going to identify the reporting and reported verb and clause. Understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Let us again use the example sentence on the screen. Rolly said, I want to buy a motorcycle. Next slide, please. Alright, so the reporting clause there is Rolly said. Reporting clause or indirect speech is the short clause that indicates who is talking. Remember the term reporting clause, who is talking. It is the clause that is outside of the inverted commas. So we said earlier that we apply comma after the word said. So reporting clause is the one who is talking in the sentence. So next, the reporting verb. Do you have any guess which is the reporting verb in the sentence?
Ma'am.
Yes, Anna.
I think the reported verb is the word said in the sentence.
Alright, very good, Anna Lu. That is the reporting verb in the sentence, the word said. It's the way on how the speaker said the speech. It indicates the way on how the speech is being said. Actually, the common reporting verbs are the word asked and said, as we indicated on the sentence. But you may also use these words for creative construction of the sentence. Next slide, please. These are the example words of reporting verb. Replied, told, complained, confessed, reported, demanded, suggested, claimed, answered, denied, confirmed, shouted, added, persuaded, yelled, etc. There are so many words that we can use in reporting verb. So remember again, the reporting clause is the one who speaks in the sentence. Reporting verb, how does the speaker said it? Reporting is on the outside part of the open and closed speech marks. You get it?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Alright, thank you for responding. We are done to reporting clause and to reporting verb. Now can someone determine what the reported clause is in the sentence? Will we go back to the example sentence? Alright, thank you very much. You can guess or who you have the information. The answer.
Ma'am.
Yes, Genevieve, thank you.
Ma'am, the reported clause in the sentence is, I want to buy a motorcycle.
Mm-hmm. Very good. Good job. It looks that my students have a good comprehension skill. So reported clause is the one that the speaker tells exactly. This is the message or action in the given scenario. And as you can see, it is the message inside the speech marks. What we call speech marks. You're right, Genevieve. So now lastly, can you identify what is the reported verb in the sentence?
Ma'am,
ID.
I think the reported verb in the sentence is the word buy.
Nice observation, I see. Buy is the reported verb in the sentence because we all know that we need to take a look only at the reported clause inside the speech marks. Since reported clause is inside the speech marks, we need to know what is the verb inside the speech marks. So in the given sentence, I want to buy a motorcycle. Buy is the verb. Now, I will give you another example, but this time, it is a conversation between the auntie and Kate. First, you need to construct it into direct speech, and then you need to identify what are the reported and reporting clause and verb in the sentence. Is that understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
The example conversation. Next slide, please. Yeah. So who can translate? Who can construct the sentence, the conversation? I mean, to direct speech. Analu, may you answer? Alright, so the internet problem connection, and that's alright. I understand. Yes, Genevieve, do you want to answer?
I will first read the conversation, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Kate, what are you doing? I am writing my assignment. Ma'am, the sentence will be Kate said, I am writing my assignment. The reporting clause will be Kate said. The reporting verb will be said. The reported clause will be I am writing with my assignment. And lastly, the reported verb will be writing.
Alright, very
Am I
good.
correct, ma'am?
Yeah, you're correct, Genevieve. Now that you know what direct speech is, its structure, and how to construct it, let us move on to indirect speech, also called as reported speech. Alright, so now I will present to you another example sentence, and I will ask you question right ahead. Let's have another slide of the presentation. Who can read the statement?
Ma'am, may I?
Yes, Mina?
Mother said that she prepared foods for dinner.
What do you think is the point of view used in the sentence?
I think the sentence used the third person point of view, as we have discussed it earlier in the presentation.
Alright. So what is the word used? What is the word used in the sentence? As you said that it is a third person point of view. What is the clue there? The word used.
The word she.
Alright, the word she. Nice, that means that you really listen and you are giving attention to our discussion. Thank you for that, Rinalyn. Now, what are the differences that you notice to direct and indirect speech? Can someone answer the question? What do you observe about its structure?
Ma'am,
Ma'am, its sentence structure is in the indirect speech has a comma, speech marks, and uses first person point of view, while indirect speech is not. It is completely narration.
Alright, thank you for that, Izzy. Now, indirect speech or reported speech is the report or narration of someone else said or wrote without using the person's exact words. Let us take a look back on our given example. Next slide, please. Alright. The example sentence on the screen. Samantha said that she wants to go to Palawan. It is like narrating what Samantha says on the speaker. Maybe he is Samantha's friend, as we guess. Now let me give you an example on how to convert the direct speech into indirect or reported speech. Next slide, please. Okay, so Mother said that she prepared foods for the dinner. If we need to convert that sentence into direct speech, it will become, I prepared foods for the dinner, said Mother. So, as we said in our discussion, said mother, the reporting clause could be at the front or could be at the end of the sentence. So make sure that you understand that rule. Now, who wants to try to convert the direct speech into indirect speech? Next slide, please. Alright. Here is the exact conversation earlier. Earlier we convert the conversation into direct speech. Now, it's your time to convert it into the indirect or reported speech. Who wants to try?
Ma'am, may I try?
Yes, anything.
Okay, ma'am, I will read the conversation first. Kate, what are you doing? I am writing my assignment. So I think, ma'am, it will become Kate said that she was writing her assignment as indirect speech.
Very good job, Izzy. Now, basically, we will use past tense in the reported speech. We will going to discuss also the form converting of direct and indirect speech. Now, here's the conversation that we answered in our given example in our discussion. Next slide, please. Kate said, I am writing my assignment in the direct speech. However, in the indirect speech, it will become Kate said that she was writing her assignment. Now, what are the differences for our short summary? What is the difference between direct speech and indirect speech? Who wants to answer?
Ma'am, may I try? The direct speech has the exact words coming from the speaker. It uses first person point of view, which uses the word I. It also has the structure of reported clause, reported verb, reporting clause, and also the reporting verb. Well, after the reporting verb, like said, asked, screamed, comma needs to apply, of course. While the indirect speech is a narration in which will not use the exact words of the speaker. It uses third person point of view and it uses past tense.
Alright, thank you very much. Very much, really. That's a very good summary. Now, for the form of converting the direct into indirect speech, let us discuss that. May you transfer to another slide, please, Monica? Now, if we need to convert the direct speech to reported speech, there are things that we need to work on here. Those are the persons of pronouns, other significant word changes, interrogative speech or imperative speech, and lastly, the verbs. Let's move on to another slide. So, if the form is in present tense, the direct speech, of course, will be in present tense, but the indirect speech will be in the past tense. The verb will be, she says that she wants to take a shower. That's for the example number 1. Again, for the present tense, I want to take a shower. If we convert it into indirect speech, it will become, she says that. The word that, I put that into the parenthesis because it's an optional. If you want to write the word that, or if you're not going to use the word that, it's okay, it's optional. She says that she wants to take a shower. Is that understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So, here's the explanation for that. We're usually using the words, or as we call it, as the reported verb, like says, or maybe tell, if the sentence is in present tense. So basically, we're just going to put she says, of course, by changing the first point of view, I, to she, and then put the sentence, the exact sentence on the direct speech. What's the action or the situation there? Is that understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Alright, so next one is past tense. The example sentence in direct speech is that I want to take a shower. But in indirect speech, it will become, she said that she wanted to take a shower. So what do you observe between the two, the present tense and the past tense? Yes, Genevieve, do you have an answer? Internet connection problem. Who wants to try? Rina, do you have an answer there?
Hello, ma'am. Sorry, the connection is not good. Would you please repeat the question?
Do you observe between the indirect speech of the present tense and the indirect speech of the past tense? Alright, so I will just answer that question. So as you can see in the presentation, the word says became said, and the word wants became wanted, because the form changes into, from present tense, it became past tense, which will the verb will be converted into past tense. In the sentence, the verb are says and wants, so it will become past tense. Is that understood? Do you have any clarification questions so that before we move on to our next slide, we're going to explain that well?
None, ma'am.
Alright, thank you. I say how about the Anna Lou?
Ma'am? Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any questions or clarification?
Sorry, ma'am, the connection isn't...
Yeah, I understand because of this time. Alright, so let's proceed to another slide. So, the present progressive tense. In the direct speech, the sentence is, he said the dog is barking. But in the indirect speech, it will become, he said that the dog was barking. When it's present progressive tense, the situation is still on the progress. It's still ongoing. Is that clear? That's why it's...
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, thank you very much. If we convert that into past tense, into past progressive tense, the word that we usually change into past tense is just the word is, which is the verb in the sentence. Because the word said is already on the past tense. So, the verb inside the speech marks will be the one that we're going to change. Is it understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Alright, thank you very much. Next example. Present perfect tense. Indirect speech. The family said we have been there. Izzy, may you read the answer in indirect speech if we convert it?
The family said that they had been there.
Alright, so let's move on to another slide. In simple past tense. Direct speech. May you read the sentence? As well as indirect
Ma'am,
speech.
may I?
Yes, Rina.
The direct speech is this. My sister told me that the counting of votes started, while the indirect speech is my sister told me that the counting of votes had started.
Alright, what do you observe? What are the words that changed when we going to convert it into indirect speech? Observe it. Observe the sentence carefully. My sister told me the counting of votes started. My sister told me the counting of votes had started. Is the sentence added something or it changes its form?
Ma'am, I think in indirect I think in indirect speech, the word had is added, I think.
Yes, very good observation. Now, let's proceed to another slide. There's a lot of example I provided here. Alright. Another example, in the present simple. If the sentence is in the direct speech form, I like ice cream. But in reported speech will become, she said that, optional, she liked ice cream. The verb in the sentence is word like. So, in the reported speech, the verb will be converted into past simple tense, which is the word liked. It will become liked. Next, past continuous. I am living in London. But in reported speech, it became she said that she was living in London, or she said she was living in London. Next, past simple, and bought a car. She said she had bought a car, or she said that she bought a car. Next, in past continuous, I was walking along the street. She said that she had been walking along the street. And lastly, for the present perfect, I haven't seen Julie. But if we convert it into reported speech, it will become she said that she hadn't seen Julie. Alright, let's move on to our next slide, Monica. Alright, as you can see in the PowerPoint presentation, there's the indirect speech has no sentence converted. I want you to convert it with your own. So, who wants to try the second part? Will.
Mom? Oh, yeah, I see first, I think.
Yes, Ivy.
The sentence "I'll see you later," if we convert it, will become she said that she would see me later. I'm not sure, ma'am.
Okay, that's a very great answer. That's right. So, if the tense is will, I'll see in the direct speech, I'll see you later. It will become she said that she would see me later. Very good answer, Izzy. Next, would. I would help, but she said that she would help, but is it understood? So
Yes,
report
ma'am.
Yes.
converted into thank you. Will be converted into past tense. Now, in can I can speak perfect English. What do you think is a sentence if we convert it into indirect speech?
Mom, I think
Ma'am.
the reported speech would be she said she could speak perfect English.
Nice try. Nice answer, Lynn. I mean, that's correct. Next, could. I could swim when I was 4. What do you think is the answer in reported speech?
Ma'am,
Yes, Anna?
I could swim when I was 4. I think the reported speech would be she said she could swim when she was 4.
Alright, thank you very much, Anna. So, in the next tense, the word shall, I shall come later. It will be converted into, she said that she would come later. So, let's jump into might. I might be late. What do you think is the converted speech right there?
Ma'am,
Yes, Genevieve?
she said that she might be late.
Alright. It looks like you're understanding it better. So next, tense, must. I must study at the weekend. What is the answer? Anna?
May I try? She said that she must study at the weekend, or maybe she said she had to study.
Alright, very good conversion, Ivy. Next slide, please. We are done now on the form of converting the direct speech into indirect speech. Now, how if we're going to convert a reported question by answering yes or no? So here's an example into direct speech. Do you prefer pasta than rice? In the indirect speech, it will become, she asked me if I prefer pasta than rice. So the word she asked me will be added in the sentence. If I prefer pasta than rice will be the same as the sentence in the direct speech, but the word if will be added in the sentence because it is a reported question answered by a yes or no. Is that understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Right.
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. We can also use the word weather. Let's try the word weather. She asked me whether I prefer pasta than rice. Is that correct or right? In your own understanding.
Yes,
Yes.
ma'am.
Alright, very good, Anna Lu. We can use the two words in converting the direct speech to indirect speech in yes or no question. She asked me if I prefer pasta than rice. Now, take a look at the other sentence. In a direct speech, Mom, do we still have alcohol? I'm going outside. Asked Mary. What do you think is the conversion into indirect speech?
Mom, may I try? I think the answer is Mary asked to her mom if they still have an alcohol because she will go outside. Is that correct?
Yes, you're correct, Trina. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Alright. Do you have any questions regarding with our topic for today?
And ma'am, actually it's all clear.
Everything's clear, ma'am.
And ma'am.
Much Anna Lu, Izzy, Rita, and the other students. Let's have a quick summary about what we have discussed for today. We discussed about the importance of speech in our daily lives, wherein we can use it in narrating the speaker's idea and emotion. We can encounter this in newspaper article, public speaking, and in news or at home setting. We also discussed the difference between direct and indirect, or we call it also as reported speech. The structure of direct speech and its sentence pattern, which are the reporting, reported, clause, and verb. The structure of indirect speech, the conversion, and its form of the sentence. Now, let's have an activity. If you really understand our topic for today. So, let me read to you the instruction. Read the sentences carefully. Identify the sentence if it is direct speech or indirect or repeated speech. Write DS if it is direct speech and IS or RS if it is indirect speech. Are you ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Number 1. Maya said, I will pass my outputs today. What do you think is that kind of speech? Is that DS or is that IS or RS?
Ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
What is that? Yeah, Rina?
It's direct speech. po. Yes, DS, ma'am.
Alright. DS or direct speech. Number 2. My mother said that she will go to the doctor today. What is that kind of speech? Yes, Anna? Are you raising her hand?
Ma'am.
Mm-hmm.
The answer is IS or RS.
Alright. Number 3. My friends messaged me and said, we should go to Tagaytay. What do you think is the answer?
Ma'am.
Ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, that's great. Nice answer, Izzy. Number 4. Jake said I will leave my necklace here for you.
DS, ma'am.
Yes, Rina, you're right. DS. And number 5. Taylor said to her fiancé that she loved him.
IS po.
Yes, Rina.
IS or RS.
Alright, very good. So, in our next slide, alright, in this activity, you're going to use our chat box, okay, for the answer. Determine the sentence structure of direct speech in the given sentences. We're going to determine what is the reporting clause, what is the reporting verb, reported clause, and reported verb. Is that understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, use the chat box for your answer. We'll give you 5 minutes for that. Okay, your timer starts now.
To write a character's direct speech, you'll need to listen very closely. Inverted commas, talking, 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 a piece of punctuation. Inverted commas, talking, 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 a piece of punctuation. Inverted commas, and then tell us who said it and how they said it, you plum. Inverted commas, how are you? Question mark, inverted commas. Asked the happy butcher as he combed his hair.
Alright. So we are waiting for the others to send their answers in the chat box. Genevieve already answered. Rinalyn also answered. And Izzy, where's the others?
Ma'am, I sent it na po.
Alright, so it's complete now. I will take a screenshot of your answers and then I will check that later and I will send the scores in our GC in Messenger. Is that alright?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Alright, for the compilation also of your scores. So, going back with our discussion, do you have any questions or clarifications regarding with our topic?
None, ma'am.
None, ma'am. It's all clear.
Okay. Anna, how about you and Genevieve?
None,
Everything's
ma'am.
clear, ma'am.
Thank you very much for your response. So, I will give you now your assignment. I will send it to our G class. I'll make sure that you will pass your assignment before our meeting next week. Is that right? Is that okay for you? I mean the exact the days?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Alright. So, our assignment is also about the conversion of direct speech into indirect speech. There are columns there. Make sure that you read the instruction carefully, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so if you don't have any more question, let's call it a day class. Goodbye. Thank you for your cooperation.
Thank you so
Goodbye,
much.
ma'am. Thank you po.
Have a good day.
Be safe, please.